Sheila, what would you like to drink?
Just some tap water.
Tap water, we got
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sheila, this is Colt.
Oh,
Colt.
Colt.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Pleasure.
Great to be with you. First of all, thanks again for taking this time, obviously.
Not at all.
As we approach the playing of the 150th Open Championship at the Old Course in St. Andrews, a venue and small city that's collectively considered the home of golf, we set out to pay homage to old Tom Morris, who was one of the first competitors, ball makers, an original agronomist, and one of the first course architects. In doing so, we met his family.
And here we are. This is so special.
Historians.
That's why he was known during his lifetime as the grand old man of golf.
Teachers and turf managers. We went to museums.
So this is called a driving putter.
This is so amazing.
We played several of the courses he designed.
Yeah.
We spoke to local business owners, and we immersed ourselves in his everlasting impact on a game that mirrors so many aspects of life. And although the grand old man of golf has been gone since 1908, his life and legacy are still very much alive today in the hearts and souls of so many. Time now for part one of our journey to priceless St. Andrews, presented by MasterCard. We flew into Edinburgh and drove northeast for a little more than an hour. As part of MasterCard's sponsorship of the 150th Open Championship and the AIG Women's Open, several of the locations where we interviewed those close to old Tom Morris are available exclusively to MasterCard cardholders as priceless experiences on priceless.com/The Open. In an effort to properly pay homage to old Tom, what was exclusive to us and what was an incredible honor was a sit-down with his great-great-granddaughter. The last of a family line, Sheila Walker still lives in the house old Tom lived in, which overlooks the 18th green and out to the first tee of the greatest venue in golf.
I would imagine you get this a lot, but on behalf of golf, thank you for continuing to communicate about your great-great-grandfather. As you said earlier today, you made reference to that's a big responsibility. Is that what you feel?
Yes, well, the property is a big responsibility. Making sure it's in good condition and looked after and things move in the right direction. It is a responsibility, yes.
What about the legacy in general? Does that come with that too?
Yes, it does come with it, because people are genuinely interested and you want to get it right and correct, but always finding out new things. When this book came out in 2008, everyone said, well, that's it. This is a common thing with research, and 99% of it is correct. But we have found out other things have turned up, and that is the nature of research.
In addition to spending quality time with Mrs. Walker, the nature of our research would start with William Lumsden, a steelworker, who, when he read that his hometown of Whitburn had ties to the Morris family, he too set out on a fact-finding mission.
In St Andrews, old Tom's a well-known figure. But where I come from in central Scotland, they don't know the incredible contribution that father and son made.
And the more he learned, the more he wanted to teach.
When I read about old Tom, I knew within my heart that their story needed to be told. The children of Scotland must know about these incredible men. And fate has landed on my doorstep that I have that honour of doing that. What he achieved in golf was incredible. I just see a legacy shaped by life skill.
Old Tom Morris lived to be 86 years old, almost twice the average age of someone living in the mid to late 1800s. He outlived his wife and all 4 of their children.
How did he have the fortitude and resilience to overcome such incredible adversity? The death of young Tommy, the death of his wife. How do you overcome and keep going? Let's make sure the children are educated, empowered and inspired. It's about chipping away at giving these incredible men the recognition they so richly deserve.
Is this really happening right now?
William Lumsden's reverential lesson plan was derailed by COVID, but prior to the global pandemic, he was popping into classrooms throughout the country, passing on valuable life lessons he learned by researching and reading up on the Morris family. And he was inspired to keep going by the feedback he was receiving.
I was absolutely astonished to receive roughly about 120 handwritten letters, pictures drawn from the children of old Tom Morris, and some very important messages and highlighting the positive impact that these programmes made on these young children. And it's very, very touching when you receive such an incredible response.
Dear Mr. Lumsden, thank you for teaching us about Tom Morris's legacy. I really enjoyed it. Best wishes, Alfie.
One thing led to another, and after his total immersion into the Morris's past, Lumsden experienced a strange sense he needed to visit St. Andrews and absorb more of the present, which is when he befriended Sheila Walker.
I approached there in 2015. I just walking across Granny Clark's Wine thinking, what am I doing? I didn't even know her, or she didn't even know me. But you just felt within your heart it was the thing that had the right thing to do.
So the open shop, so she lives above it?
Yeah, she lives above the house, so you got the shop below, and she lives in the 5 windows that you see there, so that's the house that Tom Morris lived in, So
Let's go over there.
Yeah.
Let's go check it out. She's home now.
Oh yeah, she'll be in there just now, yeah. So this is the takes you through into the Tom Morris house there.
Is this where you walked in?
Yeah, so I just walked through this tunnel, and so this is the Tom Morris garden through the back there. I knew of Sheila Walker's name, but I didn't know her. So I drove up to St Andrews, and I walked up to the Tom Morris shop, and I walked through the tunnel that takes you into the back garden. And there's a big sign that says the Tom Morris house. And I rang the doorbell. And the door opened, and it was Sheila Walker standing there. Hi Sheila, how are you?
This is amazing.
She looks after it very well.
How do you keep everything so tidy?
We would spend a lot of time with Sheila Walker that week, and in addition to sharing several stories about her lineage and her great-great-grandfather's legacy, it was obvious she got some of his passion for agronomy.
Michael Bamber is a dear friend of mine. He wrote a beautiful little journal entry on you. And he asked you if you got the green thumb.
Green fingers.
And you said it's green fingers.
Green fingers, yes. Over 100 different types of plant in the garden.
100 different plants in your garden.
Yeah, 100 different varieties, yes.
That's amazing.
And that's including bulbs.
Throughout the week, we find out that Mrs. Walker has several of the same characteristics of Old Tom, and in some cases, literally carries on meaningful traditions.
I bring the sand off the beach and I put it down on the grass, you see. And old Tom did this. He was the first to put all this sand. Mer son, he would say. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much.
But at least you've seen it in the daylight.
Oh, it's beautiful. This is so special. I can't thank you enough for taking the time. The whole goal is to spend all week as an homage to old Tom and young Tommy and reflect on the impact.
I was born in Edinburgh in 1945, brought home in the age of 2 weeks. I was raised there, that was my home.
That is the home of golf. I mean, if you want to singularly point to the home of golf, that would be it. Mm-hmm. That's where you live.
Mm-hmm. That's my home. That's my home.
As I said earlier, there will be much more from Mrs. Walker sprinkled throughout the upcoming episodes. But for now, it was to the new course, an old Tom design that opened in 1895. My playing partner was Roger McStravick, author of the book St. Andrews, In the Footsteps of Old Tom Morris, which, by playing the new course, is exactly where we'd be walking. This is the old course, but today, we're using it as a crossing because we're headed to the new course. You know, the new course, the one that was built in like the late 1800s.
day to be alive, roaming the land that is St. Andrews. Oh my God. That just looks like the putter old Tom would use. This is amazing. What a museum this is. Soak it up, boys. This is the history of golf. It was late in his life that he was doing the new course, technically, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So he's born in 1895, so yeah, a good 70 years old.
It's a beautiful day.
Oh, drop. Great
And we're
shot.
off.
We need to go in, that's it.
So Roger, you're going through life and at some point you stumble upon old Tom Morris. Tell me how this all comes about.
A friend had a ticket to see Peter Ellis meets old Tom Morris. Honestly, I don't know how to explain it other than like a tuning fork. It just really resonated with me. So I just bit by bit started finding more and filling in these gaps in Tom's life, you know. It's a passion for me, so it's not a chore to read all these books, you know, and to find out all these little hidden stories, because for every book there will be a little story that nobody else has told.
Which leads to your book.
What I realized was that almost every street in St. Andrews there's a Tom Morris link of some sort. The idea is that it's a guide around the town and the links.
Tell me a few things we need to know for someone who doesn't know much about old Tom Morris.
He was the best golfer of his era. He won 4 Open championships. He is still today the oldest winner of the Open. He was 46. Golf course design. He designed over 100 courses. And that list of courses is the entire front nine of the old course. It is Royal County Down, it is Muirfield. I mean, it's just a fantastic list of courses.
Great up.
Cheers.
Nice.
So he was the one that set up that template of, in the twilight years of a professional's life, they go on and design courses.
What's the most impressive thing about all of him and his life and his career? It's all of it.
But it was that, and that's why he was known during his lifetime as the grand old man of golf. Throughout it, you know, we have so much to be grateful for. Good game.
Thank you. What a pleasure.
Yeah. Well
amazing.
Next up, more priceless experiences in our discovery of old Tom Morris, which includes stories from Sheila Walker. Plus, we go off property and out of town to chase down more old Tom Morris designs. And we celebrate those courses with some Scottish spirits.